start. Each roars out a challenge now. The drivers anxiously watch their dash displays. Any sign of trouble will crop up there first. There was some concern for Lynn St. James' engine. The team had asked to take the car off the grounds and test it, but that is not allowed, and so we watch up and down the line to make sure all of the engines are started. 33 cars are ready to be led by the pole sitter, Arie Luyendyk, who nods the affirmative that he is okay. Nelson Piquet, three-time world champion, stares straight ahead, contemplating the day. Japan, Matsushita. A tremendous field of competitors, 11 rows of 3, ready to roll toward the green. Each row now, the Chiefs will hold their hands in the air, indicating that their car is started and ready to go racing. What a remarkable story. J for Jeff Andretti on his helmet. And with Jim Perkins, the general manager of Chevrolet Motor Division at the wheel, and Stuart Richcoy as the marshal of the Camaro Z28 pace car, is leading those machines out. Let's go to Gary.
Paul, the moment's finally here. We wait all year long. The crews, all the countless hours, ready to finally get it going. The scramble now, off the grid, onto pit road. Dick Simon, 5 cars in this race. Boycell in the front row. Is this your best chance ever to win at Indy?
Yes, Gary, the emotion is so high. It's all I can do to keep from crying. Diane and I feel that this is the, our best year ever. I just don't know what to say. I'm so happy that the crowd and everybody is here, our sponsors, and I just hope the fans out there have a good race today as well.
24 years for Dick Simon. What a moment. Jack?
Gary, Gerald, 35 straight years when they gave the command. This man, A.J. Foyt, was in the cockpit. Today, you're behind the wall. Your thoughts?
Well, it's like a nightmare, to be honest with you, Jackie. It's hard. Very hard.
Paul, he's making his way. He will call the shots on both John Andretti and Robbie Gordon, the rookie.
And how strange to see A.J. Foyt afoot at this time. You ride now with Scott Goodyear. He finished second last year. The field forms up looking for their familiar 11 rows of 3. In the Bettenhausen car, Gary, everything is settling down, and he is ready to go racing. Ahead, it's $1 million purse after 200 laps of the 2.5-mile oval. They're shooting for Arie Luyendyk's race record. Pit stops will be the key in the outcome of today's run, but perhaps the weather will affect it as well. The crews are watching the skies, and there are predicted showers later in the day, perhaps before the end of the race. There are some pretty sophisticated systems in use by the crew chiefs to watch the weather, everything from airplanes to a phone call from a house out to the west of the track. Now, there's a new twist in the pit rule speed limit this year. Here's Jack Arute.
Paul, for the second time in 2 years, there will be a 100-mile-an-hour speed limit on pit road in green and caution. Starting at the entrance to pit road and all the way down, there will be radar guns and display boards. If you violate the 100-mile-an-hour limit, you will be penalized. But they won't measure it by the radar guns. They'll use the onboard transmitter that does the scoring. They say the severity of the violation will determine the severity of the penalty. We'll have to wait and see.
The IndyCar rules are designed to limit some technology in favor of the driver input. As you look over Danny Sullivan's right shoulder in a live onboard camera shot, here are the chassis rules. The engines are 161 cubic inches enhanced by a single turbocharger. And of the chassis in the field today, well, the Lolas dominate. They are customer cars. The Penske's and the Galmer are limited edition specials. And with 3 basic engine designs dominating the race, the V8 Chevys, the Fords, and the V6 Buicks, or their later models, the Menard. You're looking at one of our 6 onboard camera shots as Danny Sullivan works his way across the start-finish line and down toward turn 1. These are the onboard cameras that we have today that will help you keep track of the 77th running of the Indianapolis 500. And we also have 3 cameras on board the pace car itself. That Camaro Z28, it's driven by Jim Perkins. As the field comes even closer into formation, he wears a special noise feedback headset so he can hear the commands of Chief Steward Tom Binford on the radio above the roar of the pack behind him. As suggested, the pit stops may play a key role today. For a further update, here's Gary Gerald.
Well, Paul, as we've heard, the drivers almost to a man say it's going to be as tough to pass today as it's been in recent years at Indianapolis. So consequently, more emphasis than ever on pit stops. Every team expects to make at least 7 stops for 500 miles. And keep in mind, if you can save 2 seconds down here, you're going to save at least a couple of 100 yards out there in the racetrack. This is the Gallus crew. They serve Al Unser Jr. They won the pit stop competition earlier this week. They're pumped, primed, psyched, ready to go, Paul.
Because of the importance of those pit stop placements, some teams have even hired tacticians. Here's Jerry Punt.
Exactly, Paul. The average IndyCar race about 200 miles and typically 2 pit stops. As Gary just told you, you can expect that to escalate to 7 or more today. That's why many teams, like Tony Bettenhausen's, have hired race day tacticians. That's Steve Horn you're looking at there, the man back in 1986 who made the calls for Bobby Rahal and True Sports Racing when they won it all. Paul?
Steve Horn watches down the track. There are, in this race today, 6 former winners, accounting for 9 different wins. Al Unser Sr. is the all-time lap leader with 629 leading laps. He is also a 4-time winner and the oldest driver in the field. Yesterday, he turned 54. The youngest rookie in the field is Stefan Gregoire, who turned 24 2 weeks ago. The oldest rookie, Nelson Piquet, who is... Now, let's take a last look at the starting field of 33 cars ready for the Indianapolis 500 as the pace lap is now underway. All of these drivers agree that the first laps are critical. It is often debated as to whether to start on the inside or the outside of the front row and which makes for a better start. As the green unfurls, counting today's rookies, 601 drivers will have answered the Brickyard's challenge in 77 races. For the first time, the Speedway has an honorary starter to wave the green flag. The Speedway president, Tony George, has asked Nick Finoro, a former racer and a starter for all other IndyCar events for the past decade, to help send them on their way. This has been Nicky's lifelong dream. We wish him luck here today. So they come off the second turn on the pace lap and will soon fall into their familiar rows of 3, paced by Arie Luyendyk. You look at the front row, Mario Andretti to the center. To the far left is Raul Boesel. Moment now to begin to anticipate the start of this race. They have been cautioned to be so very careful. In the north end of the track now, the northeast corner, the field coming into nice alignment in the front rows. On board with Al Unser Jr. Some stragglers toward the back. But the rest of the field comes off the 4th and final turn. The pace car is already rolling on the pit road. The cars now begin to accelerate. They look for the green flag. And the Indianapolis 500 with a swirl of green is underway for the 77th time. As Raul Boesel sweeps to the outside around Arie Luyendyk and picks up the lead. Overhead, announcing the start of the race. Carefully, the rest of the field picks their way through the second corner and onto the long backstretch. Boesel continues to accelerate, then pulls away from Luyendyk. Running to the completion of the first lap now. Raul Boesel heading onto the home stretch. Chased by Luyendyk. And Raul Boesel will lead the first lap of the Indianapolis 500. Then Luyendyk, then Mario. Luyendyk runs in second place. Mario Andretti third. Al Unser Jr. crossed the line in fourth, followed by Scott Goodyear, Stefan Johansson, Emerson Fittipaldi, Paul Tracy, and Nigel Mansell runs in ninth. They have been careful on this start. The chief steward, Tom Binford, asked them to be very careful. They have been so. We expect the pace to pick up as they begin to string out. Single file, there's the defending champion. He is in 4th place. Scott Goodyear, the man who battled against Al Unser Jr. last year. Raul cracked that first lap off at 201.14 miles an hour. ready to lead and, if possible, win the Indianapolis 500-mile race. The rest of the field flashes across the line now. The fight is for second place. Ari Lyondike having to deal with Mario Andretti. Three laps into the record book, and the pace picks up. Boisel is now charging at 213.5 miles an hour. To this moment, he is the fastest car in the field as we take a look at a fight between Emerson Fittipaldi in the 4 car and his teammate Paul Tracy. It is a battle for 9th and 10th.
The two Penske cars are a study in contrast. Emerson Fittipaldi, the veteran, Paul Tracy, the rookie. Both took it carefully at the start. They will not be dicing with each other for position yet with the idea of beating the other man. Still, it's in the early stages of the race. Caution and careful thoughts reign.
Now that battle on the backstretch. They just flashed past Bobby Unser. Bobby, a nice clean start. They really behaved.
Well, they certainly did, Paul, and one of the things that I noticed was how careful everybody, and I mean that literally, everybody was at the start. But after about 2 or 3 laps, we'll watch a little bit of dust quit rising out of the track. They're on it now. Boisel, of course, is pulling away just a little bit, but believe me, they're hurrying.
Al Unser Jr. runs in 4th. He is chased by Scott Goodyear. Shades of last year's Indianapolis 500.
Both Goodyear and Little Al are men that start slowly and come on strong, and it's an ominous note for the opposition that Little Al is running as well as he is this early in the race. At this point last year, he was back in 10th, and Goodyear was making his way up from dead last.
So the Indianapolis 500 is underway. Raul Boisel just cracked the fastest lap of the race at 214.18 miles an hour. So in lap number 5, Raul Boisel is leading the Indianapolis 500, the second time in his career. We'll be back.
Defending champ Pat Bradley, Dottie Mockery, Betsy King, and Nancy Lopez play the